You've all seen the threads on the Magic Cafe, people asking, what's the best version of this particular trick? I try to assume the best about the people who ask these questions, but I know that we're all kind of reluctant to answer the question, probably for a couple of reasons. One, because everybody's best differs, and two, these questions are asked with little to no research done by the party asking the question. But enough grousing about how people post on the Magic Cafe. I want to share with you my process for doing research to find the best version of a trick for you. This process has helped me uncover the best version of tricks for me across a wide variety of types of effects. Now, I'm primarily a mentalist, so it's helped me with things like ACAN, Q&A, newspaper headline predictions, bank night, and even a card calling type routine. I'm going to share with you, my Erudite viewers, a process that has helped me uncover the best version of a lot of tricks. But more importantly, I want to share it with you because I think it can help you find the best version of tricks that work for you. If you apply what I'm about to tell you, not only will you have a ton of fun doing the research with a purpose, but you'll also discover the best possible version of tricks that you can perform for yourself and your audiences. The first step in this whole process is to start with a trick that interests you. It could be anything. It could be a card trick, a rope trick, a newspaper trick, you name it. If it interests you, that is the first key. Pick something that interests you that you think you might want to perform, but you just don't know what's the best version out there. I'll tell you right now that the larger the library you already have, the easier it will be for you to do the research that I'm going to show you. But don't despair if you don't have a large library. I have some tips for you as well. Once you have a topic that you want to do some research on, let's take Out of This World as an example.
That was well, thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
You need to use one of the best possible free tools on the internet. I'm talking about the website made possible by the expert under the card table, Dennis Baer. And of course, his website is The Conjuring Archive. Dennis has done a tremendous job of organizing all of the tricks in the books that he has listed so that you'll know who created it, when it was published, what category it falls in, related tricks, and all of this is searchable and clickable. So when you're looking for Out of This World, that's actually a category under the card section of the Conjuring Archive. So after you have that first step of identifying the trick that you want to learn to do, to perform, to present to an appreciative audience, now you need to hit up the research on Dennis's website. Because of the way he has things laid out by categories, you'll be able to look specifically at Out of This World variations with clickable links, descriptions, lists of tricks that are similar, as well as where you can find that trick in your library. Let's face it, most of us don't possess a photographic memory. So when you read a book, you're not going to remember every single thing you've read or where every version of Out of This World could exist in your library. So it's really helpful to use this invaluable resource to remember where in your library you can go to look for versions of this trick. The next step is to gather all of the books that you just found in the research that you did. So if Dennis has listed a version of Out of This World that you think might interest you, you should get the book off your shelf and get it all in one place. By the way, it's probably helpful to have a writing utensil and some paper close by so that you can keep some notes about versions you like. If you're more of a computer or a phone person, then it certainly is fine to take notes in those places as well, as long as you have a way to keep up with the research that you're doing so that it can actually benefit you. Now comes the really fun part. You get to actually read through the tricks. And because you've focused in on a specific effect, your mind is going to be working for you to help differentiate between those versions that you're going to read. I find it to be tremendously fun to read through the different variations and see, what do I like? What calls to me? What could I see myself performing when I'm reading through that version of the trick? And if you've been following along, now is a great time to write out what it is you like about the version you just read. You'll start to get some ideas about the differentiators between the version. Does it involve two people? Does the participant get to handle the cards? Do they get to shuffle ahead of time? How many cards do you go through? Does it have to be a full deck or a partial deck? Can it be done done from a shuffled deck in use. It's really up to you and your creativity to decide what differentiates one trick from another and to start to categorize those. I know it sounds ridiculous to write this down, but I promise you that if you start to differentiate between these tricks and the advantages and disadvantages, your mind will start to work on what version will work best for your situation. This tip alone has helped me to identify the versions of the tricks that I do, because as I decided what are my performance conditions, do I use a shuffled deck? Do I want to use a mem deck? It really helps to focus and narrow in which version of the trick is going to be best for you. By the way, even if you don't have a large library, for a very low price, you can have access to 84 years of tricks across a wide variety of topics. And I'm talking about Genie Magazine. For $35, you can get a 1-year digital subscription, and I'm not being paid to endorse this. I'm just telling you that some of my favorite versions of certain tricks have come from the pages of Genie Magazine. For example, the Out of This World that I found to fit best for me actually comes from Genie. A lot of the tricks that are published in Genie ended up later in books. Anyway, that's just a tip if you decide, hey, I don't have that big of a library. A subscription to Genie for $35 could be just the ticket to help you find a lot of different things. And it has its own research center because the entire archive of 84 years is searchable. It also includes Magic magazines, so you're kind of getting a twofer whenever you subscribe to Genie Magazine. Research is fun, and if you follow this path that I just showed you, I assure you, you'll be able to find tricks that work for you and your situations and your audiences. But even if you don't end up using the item that you just researched, you'll get some ideas that may be able to be applied down the road. Here's what I want you to remember though, and take away from this episode. Research has shown us that a lot of breakthroughs come from linking two previously unlinked ideas. So as you read different creators, different performers, different techniques, you may find ways to connect or use parts of each trick to form something that has some synergy that's greater than the sum of its parts. But even if you don't find exactly what you're looking for, part of the joy is in the journey, and you never know when that seed of an idea will germinate into a full-fledged performance piece. So what are you waiting for? If you need more books in your library, be sure to shop with Don to save 10% this week. And if you've just been waiting to discover what's the best version of whatever trick for you, then be sure to do some research this week and sound off down in the comments below with what you'll be researching. Be sure to click here to learn more about tracking your progress so that you're getting the most out of these research sessions. As always, my friends, I appreciate you watching, and until next time, keep reading.